Now the next topic in a strength of materials is shear force and bending moment diagram. So shear force and bending moment diagram. So along the length of any beam, whether it's fixed beam, simply supported beam, or cantilever beam, there will be a shear forces and bending moment due to these shear forces. So along the length, how these shear forces are varying, and along the length, how this bending moment is varying at different points will be shown by this shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. So we will have these four types of supports or beams. First one is fixed support. Second one is hinge support. Third one is roller support. And fourth one is double roller support. So in the fixed support, the beam is fixed into the wall or anywhere else. It's not allowed to move. So at the fixed end, we have three reactions. First one is vertical reaction, then horizontal reaction, and the moment at the fixed end. Means there will be a moment at the fixed end experienced by the beam. Okay. Second one is hinge support. So in hinge support, the beam can rotate about that hinged. Okay. So beam can move from one point in a circular way. So about the hinge support, it can rotate. So it can rotate, hence it will not have any resistance to moment. Hence we will not have any bending moment induced at the hinged support. Okay. So as the hinge support, we will not face any bending moment. However, the horizontal and the vertical reaction will be there. Okay. So HR is the horizontal reaction and VR is the vertical reaction, and M is the bending moment reaction. As it is in the fixed support, and it is absent at the hinge support because hinge support will not face any resistance to the bending moment, and it will allow the hinge support to rotate. Hence it will not face any bending moment. Okay. So at the hinge support will not have any bending moment. Now third one is roller support. So roller support is also like the hinged support, but we will also have a roller at the bottom. Hence we will not have any horizontal reaction with this support, and only vertical reaction will be induced in roller support. We will not have any bending moment due to the hinged part of the roller support, and we will not have any horizontal reaction due to the roller installed, because it can move in the horizontal direction, so it will not oppose the forces of the horizontal reaction, so it will not induce any horizontal reaction, and it will not give any bending moment reaction too. Okay. Not so, it will give only vertical reaction. Now the fourth one is double roller support. So double roller support will have the bending moment reaction and vertical reaction, and not the horizontal reaction, because it can move in the horizontal direction. Okay. So these are the four kinds of support that we will study. Now shear force and bending moment sign convention. So along the length, whether it's a cantilever beam or a simply supported beam or a overhanging beam, we will have to give a sign convention to the shear force or the bending moment. So whether you start from the left or from the right, you have to make sure that what are the sign convention you have allowed for the shear forces or bending moment. So in general, as we go from the left, we take the downward shear force as the positive, and if taken from the right, the upward shear force is taken as positive. Okay, we will see in the numericals how this is done. So downwards from the left is positive, and if you are taking from the right, if you are considering from the right, then upward shear force will be positive. Okay, so this is the sign convention for shear force, that from the left downwards is positive, and if you are taking from the right, then upward is the positive value. Okay, similarly, bending moment sign convention is, if you're taking from the left, then anti-clockwise. Okay, so this is anti-clockwise, so anti-clockwise is positive, and if you are taking from the right, then clockwise will be the positive bending moment. Okay, so sign convention for bending moment is anti-clockwise for the left and clockwise for the right. If you are taking bending moment calculation from the right, you have to assume that rightward means the clockwise is the positive value, and if you are computing the bending moment from the left side, then anti-clockwise bending moment will be the positive value. Okay, so from the left anti-clockwise, and from the right it's clockwise. Now, so shear force changes sign. When shear forces changes sign at any point, then bending moment is either maximum or minimum at that point. Hence, find all those points where shear force is 0 or changes its signs, and find bending moment at those points, and see at those points whether the bending moment is maximum or minimum. So if you have to find the point where bending moment is maximum or minimum, you have to find those points, or you have to compute the maximum bending moment or minimum bending moment. So how to compute that, how to compute those points, or how to mark those points, that at which point we will have the maximum or minimum bending moment. So this condition will occur at those points where shear force is 0 or changes its signs, means from the negative shear force value it changes to positive shear force value at that point, then bending moment will either be maximum or minimum at that point, or if shear force is 0 at that point, then bending moment will either be maximum or minimum at that point. So compute the shear force all along the length and see at which point the shear force is changing its sign or becoming 0, and at those points the bending moment will either be maximum or minimum. Point of, and at those points, when you have marked the points at which points the bending moment is maximum or minimum, you can compute the bending moment at those points and see that whether it's a maximum value or a minimum value. Now, point of contraflexor or point of inflection. So point of contraflexor or inflection is the point of inflection is the point where the bending moment is either 0 or changes its sign. Okay, so bending moment will be 0 or change its sign at the point of inflection or point of contraflexor. So at those points, by is the deflection, bending moment is 0 or changes its sign. So dou square by dx square, x is the length, okay, and by is the deflection. So dou square by means double differentiation of deflection with respect to the length is equal to 0. So by is the deflection and x is the length, okay, length of the beam that you are moving along. So dou square by dx square is equal to 0 at those points at which bending moment is 0. So point of contraflexor or inflection is the point at which bending moment is either 0 or changes its sign, means at those points you will have double differentiation of the deflection will be 0. Distance between adjacent point of contraflexor is called focal length. Okay, means distance between the point of contraflexor is known as focal length. Adjacent point of contraflexor is known as focal length. It is also known as shear span. Okay, so in the shear span we will have, or the focal length, we will have shear force is equal to constant, or shear force is constant in shear span or focal length, because rate of change of bending moment is 0, means dm by dx is equal to 0. Now dm by dx is equal to shear force, so no, rate of shear force d means df by dx is equal to no, dm by dx, dm by dx is equal to df. Yes, so rate of change of bending moment is 0 in the shear span or focal length. Okay, so dm by dx is equal to 0 in the shear span, hence shear force is constant in the focal length or shear span. Okay, maximum bending moment dm by dx is equal to 0, or shear force is equal to 0, and dou square m by dx square is less than 0. It is the condition for maximum bending moment. And for minimum bending moment, shear force is 0 and concave is up, means dou square m by dx square is greater than 0, means positive value, and this is negative value. Okay, so maximum bending moment means concave down or convex up. So dou square m by dx square is less than 0, and dm by dx square means this is slope and concave up, concave down, that means maxima and minima only. This is the thing. So maximum bending moment means dm by dx is equal to 0, or shear force is equal to 0, or double differentiation of the bending moment with respect to length less than 0, means negative value. And minimum bending moment means dm by dx is equal to 0, or shear force is equal to 0, and double differentiation of the bending moment with respect to the length as a positive value. If at any point concentrated point load or reaction acts, then SFD ordinate will change by that value or by that magnitude at that point. If at any point concentrated couple or moment acts, then bending moment diagram or bending moment ordinate will change at that point by that magnitude. And the shape of shear force diagram or the bending moment diagram will remain unaffected by this concentrated application of point load or the point moment. Okay, means the shape of the BMD or the degree of the BMD. Okay, so this is the thing, that if you are applying a point load, or you are applying a point bending moment, means a couple you are applying at a point. So at that point, the ordinate of the shear force diagram, if you are applying a point load or a reaction at that point, means then the shear force diagram will go up or go down without changing the degree of the curve. Just the ordinate will change at that point, means it will either go up or go down as per the sign of the shear force. And similarly in the bending moment diagram, if at any particular point the bending moment or a moment is acting, then the bending moment diagram will go up or go down at that point of application of the couple or moment. Okay, without changing the sign of the curve. The degree of the curve will remain the same, but only the ordinate will go up or go down. Now this is simple thing, just maximum and minimum. means dy by dx means slope is positive, then the curve is increasing, slope is negative, curve is decreasing. Dou square by dx square is greater than 0 means concave up, and dou square by dx square is less than 0 means concave down or concave up. Now dou square by dx square is greater than 0 means concave up means minimum, and dou square by dx square is less than 0 means concave down or concave up means maximum. So this is normal, maximum and minimum thing. So this is the UVL applied on a simply supported beam. Okay, this is a question or as an example. So this is the simply supported beam on which the UVL is acting. So first one is the simply supported beam on which the UVL is acting. Second one is the shear force diagram, and third one is the bending moment diagram for that simply supported beam on which UVL is acting. Now at the middle portion we have W, means the highest value of the loading, and along the length the load is varying uniformly. So at any point X from the midpoint we have loading Wx is equal to highest value of load W into X by the whole length. The whole span of the simply supported beam is L. Okay. Now at the right support, on the left support we have WL by 4, and at the right support we have minus WL by 4. Okay. Now this is parabolic. Okay, so this is parabolic because the SFD is parabolic. Okay, so this is 2 degree parabolic SFD. Now slope is increasing as you go from here, if you are starting from the left end, not right end. If you are starting from the left end, okay, if you are starting from the left end, then slope is increasing. Okay, because loading is increasing, the rate of loading is increasing, means ds by dx is equal to Wx. This is the rate of loading. Now this is increasing, as you can see in the UVL also, that loading is increasing. Okay, the uniform varying load that is there, so this is increasing, that's why the slope is increasing. Okay, however the shear force is decreasing, but rate of shear force is increasing. Okay, means the rate of loading is increasing, the shear force is decreasing. From WL by 4 it's going downwards and reaches 0, but the rate of loading is increasing, because as you can see in the UVL, the rate of loading is increasing. Similarly, from the midpoint as you go towards the right end, the slope is decreasing because the loading is decreasing. However, the shear force is increasing from the 0 to WL by 4. It's minus WL by 4, but it doesn't matter, magnitude is increasing. So from the 0 the magnitude is increasing and it reaches WL by 4 at the right end. Okay, because we have established the sign convention for shear force and bending moment diagram, that's why the negative and positive values are there. Okay, now bending moment diagram. So you can see in the bending moment diagram that the maximum bending moment that we obtained is at the point where shear force is 0. So shear force is 0 at the midpoint, and at the midpoint we are having the maximum bending moment. Okay, so WL square by 12 is there, so this is the maximum bending moment. Also the bending moment curve is like this. The slope is increasing because shear force is increasing. Okay, no, slope is decreasing because shear force is decreasing. You can see in the shear force diagram that the shear force is decreasing and hence the slope is also decreasing. Also you can see in this from here also that slope is decreasing because shear force is decreasing from minus WL by 4. As you go to the center at the midpoint, the shear force is decreasing. That's why the slope is decreasing. Now the SFD is parabolic 2 degree and BMD is cubic. Okay, for UVL, uniform varying load. If it had been the UDL, then this SFD would have been linear and BMD would have been parabolic. Now when internal hinge is present, bending moment is 0 at such points. So this is the fixed beam. Okay, fixed beam, then supported at that point at one end, and this is the internal hinge. Okay, so at the hinge the bending moment is 0. Okay, so if any question you are given an internal hinge, then you have to mark 0 bending moment at those points. Okay, so when internal hinge is present, bending moment is 0 at those points. Now the second question is, this is the beam and these are the two supports. Okay, this support having length L, okay, capital L, and upon that pulley the W load is acting. So we have another diagram for this. So W is the load acting, or P is the load acting. We will change it to P. So P is the load acting downwards. So this is the downward acting. Now from the tension of the spring, tension of the wire, okay, or the tension of the string. So tension of the string is there. So P load is acting. That has been shown in the second diagram. Now in the third, we have do the vector transformation. Means the vector has been moved along the length and we have applied the moment also, means the moment induced by the shear force. So W has been acting in the horizontally in the right direction, and then W is acting in the left direction also. So this is W, and this is the bending moment induced by the WL. So these two are the bending moment induced by those. Okay, so this is the final diagram, and you can compute the bending moment diagram and SFD diagram for this. Once again, this is the simply supported beam. One support is there, once again a pulley is there, and the load is acting. Okay, so this can be further simplified into this diagram, that these two are the load are acting, and due to this is the downwards load acting, this is the string tension. Okay, so this is the string tension, and this is the alpha is the inclination or depression. So then we divide the force into its component. Okay, so P sin alpha and P cos alpha is there. So this P is acting. Okay, so this is the P acting. So this has been divided into its components, means this will be P sin alpha, means this is P sin alpha acting horizontally, and downwards it will be P cos alpha. Similarly for this also, upward will be P sin alpha and horizontally it will be P cos alpha. So both P cos alpha will be nullified, and also P sin alpha will also be nullified. If you are not nullified at that point, if you are computing from the shear force diagram, at this point you will be having P minus P sin alpha acting downwards, and as you keep moving in this direction, you will have the horizontal component of the force P cos alpha. But at that point, at the second point, as you reach the second point, this cos alpha will get nullified by the P cos alpha acting in the opposite direction. Okay, and similarly the P sin alpha that is acting uh, upwards will be nullified by the P sin alpha acting downwards at after reaching at this point. Okay. Okay. If the span has UVL, bending moment diagram will be cubic in that span. If the BMD curve is not cubic, then a span is not having UVL, and same applies for UDL and point load. So if you are given any bending moment diagram and it's a cubic nature, means the curve is having a cubic nature, then you should know, and you may be knowing, that the span is having a UVL. So if the span is having a UVL, then the bending moment diagram will be cubic in that span. But if the bending moment diagram is not a cubic one, then you should know that in that span the UVL is not acting. Okay, and same applies for UDL and point load also. Okay, so example of cubic is ax cube bx square plus cx plus d. Okay, this is the cubic equation because the degree is 3, cubic x cube. Okay. So this is the UDL, overhanging beam. Okay. So in the case of overhanging beam, this will be always a better thing to do, that you take the bending moment at the free end, because at the free end you can compute the bending moment, summation of bending moment is equal to 0. Okay. So take moments about the free end for all forces in case of overhanging beam. SFD of a point load keeps increasing or decreasing or remains constant along the span as according to the successive point loads applied. Okay, so this has been said before also. So whether it's a point load or point reaction, or if in case of BMD it's a couple or moment acted at this point, so bending moment curve will go up and down, or shear force curve will go up and down at those point at which the point load is acting, or reaction is acting, or couple is acting, or moment is acting. Okay, now SFD of UDL is linear, SFD of UBL is parabolic, BMD of point load is linear, BMD of UDL is parabolic, BMD of UVL is cubic, and also BMD is known as elastic curve. So in the question, if you are given draw the elastic curve for the given beam, then you have to know that it is asking for the bending moment diagram. Okay, so elastic curve is also known as BMD bending moment diagram, or BMD is also known as elastic curve. Okay, if the loading is symmetrical in simply supported beam, then reaction are equal and half of the total load. So in the question, you can see in the simply supported beam, if you are given the loading as symmetrical, means the load is evenly distributed in the between the supports, then the reaction of the supports will be equal and half of the total load. Again, this is the second question. So this is the fixed beam, and in the fixed beam is bent like this. So this distance is L by 4. So you can compute the forces by simplifying the graph, simplifying the diagram. So this diagram will be changed into this diagram, means the P force will be by the vector transformation, means the vector can be moved along without changing the direction, you can change the vector also. So this point load will move from this point to this point because we are removing this extended portion. So P will be acting downwards at this point because this P will be transferred to this point. Na? P will be transferred to, because actually this force P will be acting at the free end because it will be transferred, the load will be transferred to here. So P is acting here and also along with the bending moment that has been created by this load P. So PL by 4 is acting anti-clockwise. Okay. Now this is the once again fixed beam from both side, and these two rollers are there, and P is acting at the middle point of those roller support. So P by 2 means this P has been resolved into P by 2. Okay, reaction should be upwards. Okay, I have just shown the load, reaction will be upwards, P by 2. Okay, so you have to compute the P by 2 loading से ही compute करोगे ना. So you have to compute by P by 2 means the load. You have to draw the shear force diagram using the load. Reaction will be given by the fixed end. Once again, this is another question that this is the simply supported beam, and this is the L is the support, and in that support P is acting. So this P can be transferred, it is acting horizontally, so this P has been transferred, and also due to this P we have a bending moment induced, P into L. So L is the length of that support, height of that support, so P into L is acting anti-clockwise. Okay, now this is the simple increasing or decreasing slope. Means this is the increasing slope and this is the decreasing slope. In any curve you can see the type of loading or type of shear force that is changing. So this is the increasing support and this is the decreasing slope. Slope of bending moment diagram is the magnitude of shear force, means dm by dx is equal to sx. Slope of shear force diagram is the magnitude of loading, means d of sx is equal to wx, means rate of change of bending moment diagram is equal to shear force, and rate of change of shear force is equal to magnitude of loading. So this is the UVL, this has been told before also. So this is the BMD, this is the UVL. So in UVL the load is varying uniformly, so along the length the load varies. So if at a point the highest loading is W, means the highest magnitude of the load is W, and along the length we have, means from the point W, as you move at the distance x, the loading will be Wx is equal to W into x by L. X is the distance from the highest magnitude, okay, and L is the total span. Now this is concerned with the material science, but it is concerned with gate, hence we have to study this also. So Brinell hardness number and Vickers hardness number, it is not related to bending moment diagram, it is related to material science, but it is in the syllabus and it has come here, so write this formula also. So Brinell hardness number BHN is equal to P by pi d by 2 into d minus capital D square minus a small d square under root. Okay, and Vickers hardness number VHN is equal to P by a small d into a small r into sine theta by 2, where theta is the apex angle. Okay, P is the load for measuring hardness, D is the diameter of the ball, and D is the diameter of the small d is the diameter of the indentation. Okay, and a small r is the radius of the indentation. Okay, Thank you.